What is speedrunning? Imagine video games, but fast. Haha, I don't know who put that in the script. Let's just get rid of this real quick and, oh, what? Oh, we're, 15 seconds in, so I can curse now. That's easy. What the fudge is speedrunning, and how do you get into it? Well, to explain as simply as possible, speedrunning is where you play a video game and try to beat it as fast as possible. But how did we get here? It all starts from video games as a whole. I'm not going to sit here and give you a whole history lesson on video games because that's its own topic, but over the past few decades, video games have evolved into a new medium for showcasing artistic designs, rich storytelling, and most importantly, entertainment. The entertainment bit being kind of apparent almost immediately. Eyes were drawn to video games very quickly, and the medium grew from small arcade and plug-and-play games to full-on playable stories featuring movie-quality visuals. This transition is what pretty much laid the foundation. You see, back then, games kind of followed a simple style, primarily found during the arcade era. Endless levels with no real goal other than survive, progress, and build up your score. Not a lot of games had a traditional beginning and end. Most people would compete against one another by seeing who could land the biggest high score, with publications and organizations such as Twin Galaxies tracking these achievements. The evolution of this basic format of games and documentation, speedrunning, slowly began to take shape. Early on, most games that were ran simply used an in-game timer if it had one, such as Super Mario Kart or Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!, and runners would send their scores to game magazine publications that would keep track of such achievements. These were very messy times. Twin Galaxies was another outlet, but their main focus was general achievements such as world record game high scores. With the decline of Twin Galaxies and arcade games as a whole in the late 80s due to home consoles and personal computers, it wasn't until the early 90s where none other than Doom and Quake paved the way to more documented systems thanks to their communities, sparking the next era for the speedrunning scene. Doom and Quake both utilized an in-game feature that allowed players to record and playback gameplay, referred to as demos. Throughout this time, players organized through the advancements of the internet websites and forums showcasing speedruns and achievements from players around the community. This is how Speed Demo Archive started. It wasn't until later that Speed Demo Archive started showcasing non-Quake speedruns for everyone to see. But the issue was they only presented the fastest run submitted and usually didn't present much information to go off of other than the run itself, leaving others to wonder what strategies and mechanics the runner utilized. Once YouTube and Twitch started popping up in the 2000s and 2010s, the scene exploded as it became easier to upload, share, and discuss speedrunning with others, opening the gates to an even greater era. Skip forward a little bit to 2014 and enter Speedrun.com. Speedrun.com is a website dedicated to showing not just the best speedrun of a game, but all submitted runs in a leaderboard format, as well as including links to video footage and forums to discuss strategies and tricks. But most communities use Discord to assemble and trade information, links to most of which can be found in their game's respective forum on the site. When looking for a game to run, the site hosts a multitude of games, with very popular ones having hundreds of active runners. Most of the top games are widely ran due to such things as high replayability and RNG, or randomness such as Minecraft, and for things like nostalgic classics such as Super Mario 64. A lot of retro games are popular to run, not only due to their nostalgic tendencies, but for the fact some of these games have been broken so much to the point you question if the developers actually did their jobs to begin with. These game-breaking tricks have caused runtimes to shrink immensely, and for some games, down to single-digit minutes or even seconds. While these tricks sometimes aren't always easy to pull off, they've made it increasingly accessible in terms of the amount of runs you can perform in a short amount of time. While these games have attracted runners due to their low level of entry, crazy tricks, or short runtimes, there exist groups dedicated to running games of different niches. For example, AAA games with long playtimes and cutscenes have speedruns of their own. In light of The Last of Us TV show airing at the time of recording, let's take a look at the run for that game. Any percent for The Last of Us clocks in at just under 2.5 hours, with the glitchless categories being just under 2 hours and 50 minutes. This is a pretty tame amount of time compared to other speed games, and probably pretty quick to some people who play the game casually, as howlongthebeat.com estimates it takes 15 hours to beat on average. But if you think that runtime is long for a speedrun, look at the recently released God of War Ragnarok. Or Red Dead Redemption 2 100%. Or this weird PS1 spider game I found. Yes, I know. It's crazy. Regardless, there's a speed game for everyone to enjoy in different ways. What? You don't understand some of the terms I've been using? Okay, well, let's give you a rundown real quick. Welcome to Speedrunning 101, and no, this isn't going to be some mindless Dora the Explorer type deal or Brain Age quiz, both of which have respective leaderboards by the way. There's a multitude of terms you'll see once you immerse yourself in the community, and most of which can be found through Google and speedrun.com, but here's a few terms in rapid fire succession. Category, usually meaning what the goal of a run is. Any percent, a category where you beat the game as fast as possible in any way. 100%, beat the game while collecting and completing all available things. Low percent, beat the game while usually collecting or utilizing the least amount of things as possible. I learned about this one not that long ago, and it's actually pretty insane. Glitchless, beat the game while not exploiting any bugs or game-breaking tricks. Clip, usually in reference to when a player moves their game character through a wall or object. Manip, short for manipulation and is usually some form of exploit. Skip, when a runner skips a huge portion of game using an exploit. TAS, short for tool-assisted speedrun, usually when a program is used to show how fast the game could go, with frame-perfect inputs and movement. Live split, the timer and run tracker speedrunners use to track their runs. Split, the time it takes to complete a certain designated section of a run. PB, stands for personal best, meaning a runner's personal best time. WR, short for world record. Speed game, a game in which someone chooses the speedrun. Going back to speedrun.com, how do you go about submitting a run? Well, you make an account, find your game, doesn't have a page, submit that game for its own leaderboards. Does it have a page? Read the rules and look up any guides, or make up your own. Then record your run, submit the run and its time, wait for it to be verified, and you're in. Easy. So, we've talked about video games and how people began to speedrun them, and how far the scene and communities have grown. But why is it so popular? And how did it grow this much? As speedrunning grew and grew, and with the convenience of the internet, people were able to share runs to a further degree and organize events dedicated purely for speedrunning. This is where events like Games Done Quick and European Speedrunner Assembly were born, GDQ and ESA respectively. I'm going to focus primarily on GDQ for this video. There are 2 main events per year for GDQ. Awesome Games Done Quick in the winter, and Summer Games Done Quick in, you guessed it, the winter also. Who wrote this? These events are hosted to raise money for charity, all while showcasing and celebrating speedrunning. Over the years, they've raised millions of dollars, allowed Twitch viewers to get involved through donations and raffles, and have created some interesting and legendary moments to be remembered to this day. These events were what originally opened the door to speedrunning for me. It was the summer of 2014, and I was briefly told by a friend that there's this big event going on that showcased— Hey, is it cool if I read some donos? Yeah. I was gonna finish this segment, but go for it. Great! We got a $15 donation from Superfan100 saying, hey, if you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. It's free, unlike this donation. That's nice, I guess. We also got a $2.35 donation from Lightning McQueen 95 saying, hey, you're not funny. If you want to be a sellout, consider standing out in front of the shuttle that's running in front of your house on the hour. Thanks, Lightning McQueen 95. Wait, what? These events have produced many wild and interesting moments, such as an entire crowd chanting to hug a goat, an entire crowd losing their mind to breaking a monumental donation milestone, and, one of my personal favorites, when a group of runners programmed a task bot to turn Pokemon Red into a live feed of Twitch chat.
Hello, Twitch chat.
Twitch chat, say hi to the couch.
Even outside such a big event, crazy things happen all over the community. For example, in Super Mario World, there's a trick that involves some wild and precise item placement to reprogram the game and tell it to go to the end credits. At the time, this was not humanly possible on console, until a runner named Sethbling was able to do it, and achieved this result.
You can see, I was very surprised that it worked. This is the credits warp.
And while this is still technically an event, when Super Mario 64 runner Cheese broke the 120-star world record during a reoccurring speedrun event run by ESA, known as Break the Record Live.
Oh my
That's
god!
it for 138!
Cheese, you're a legend! You are a legend, Cheese! Oh my god, you are a legend!
These and many other moments are what speedrunners strive for, as well as improving their time and climbing up the leaderboard in search of that sweet, sweet world record. But speedrunning isn't just a place filled with blissful success. While there are immense highs that can have you feeling like you're on top of the world, there are also soul-crushing lows that can leave you contemplating why you even started doing this in the first place. It's easy for many runners to find themselves at this point, chasing a time that'll place them atop the rest. But to avoid this mental pit, there's one thing you should remember. The first person you have to beat in order to progress is yourself. So take a step back, or break even, and remember why you started this journey to begin with. Hell, just have fun with it. When you find yourself frustrated, take a breather. The game's not going anywhere. And when you come back, break a record for me. Or don't. And if you still can't find motivation, I'll root for you. So, what the fudge is speedrunning? It's simply where you play a video game and try to beat it as fast as possible. And how do you get into it? Well, you already have. You're watching this video. You don't have to attempt runs to be into speedrunning, but it doesn't hurt to try, because at the end of it all, we're here to have fun. And time. That was a pretty decent run. Now let's just check my time and... Wait, what? Somebody beat me by a whole hour? But it only took me 11 minutes. How do you even get negative time? Hey, real quick, I know the video's over already, but I just wanted to thank you for sticking around if you have. I definitely didn't expect this video to be as long as it did, and I completely missed a couple moments in the community I feel like should have stood out. But if you know of any I'm missing, just feel free to send them. I'd be interested in seeing them. This was my first video, and it was a lot. I took inspiration from other creators and things I was interested in the community. For the most part, I'm planning on making videos focused on games, but I have no idea if I'm going to really stick to that or if I'm going to venture out at all, but hopefully I do. So lastly, if there's anything that you feel like I could improve on or any critiques in any way, I'd love to hear them. I'm always looking to grow and I guess figure this out. So thanks again for sticking around. I'm done.